Our next honoree is Richard S. Buehner.
Rick Buehner received his academic formation and honed his gridiron skills in Catholic schools. Both contributed to an aggressive leadership style and team-building abilities that have helped him lead successful global initiatives in marketing, manufacturing, and business development. Rick graduated from St. Martha Elementary School and St. Xavier High School. The Tiger quarterback was twice named to the All-State team and received Adidas, All-Catholic, and Parade Magazine All-American Awards. The Courier-Journal named him Kentucky's Athlete of the Decade for the 1970s. At the University of Notre Dame, he was a member of the Irish team that won the 1977 National Championship. Rick completed his BA and MBA studies at the University of Kentucky. He believes that his Catholic education and the example of his teachers and coaches provided the foundation for the values that have shaped his character: hard work, faith, service, leadership, and humility. Following graduation, Rick began a highly successful 8-year run in marketing at KFC PepsiCo, rising to the position of Senior Director of Marketing and Promotion. He later served for 9 years as Vice President and General Manager of Genlite Thomas Lighting's Consumer Products Division, calling plays that doubled its market share and dramatically improved its profitability. In 1999, Rick joined Louisville Lamp as its president, and the company has since scored a 10-fold growth in sales and even stronger increase in operating income. Rick has served as a member of the St. Xavier Alumni Board and was named to the school's Hall of Honors in 1988. He's a member of the Board of Directors of the Association for Retail Environments. In 2004, Rick and 4 other business executives co-founded TAG, or Think About God, a nonprofit Christian organization that encourages and challenges others to make God a more meaningful part of their life through a daily inspirational email. Today, over 100,000 people in 44 countries receive the daily email entitled Taglines. Rick and his wife, Vicki, are members of St. Margaret Mary Church and have 3 children, Jonathan, Lindsay, and Brian. All 3 are married and live with their spouses, along with 2 grandchildren in Chicago. The Catholic Education Foundation salutes Richard S. Buehner.
Thank you so much. It's truly a great honor to be here tonight and be part of this impressive group of deserving honorees. But as you know, tonight is much bigger than that. It's about all of us coming together to celebrate and support Catholic education. It's difficult for me in just a couple minutes to try to summarize and characterize how Catholic education influenced my life. It's been a big part of my life, really my whole life. I grew up in the Hikes Point area, went to St. Martha, on to St. X. My wife, Vicki, went to St. Barnabas and then on to Assumption. My 3 children all went to St. Margaret Mary and then on to St. X and Assumption. Vicki, after college, came back and actually taught 2nd grade at St. Martha. And it's amazing to me, even after 30 years, she still has her 2nd grade students coming up to her, telling her that she was their favorite teacher and what a great positive influence she was on their life. My 2nd grade teacher was Miss Donovan. As I look back on her now, Vicki and her are very similar, very positive spirit. And Miss Donovan always had creative ways to help us learn the material. I remember very vividly one day, she came in with a stack of index cards, and she asked us to write down on that index card what we wanted to be when we grew up. She said, when you dream, what is it that you dream about becoming when you grow up? I wrote down that I wanted to play quarterback for Notre Dame. I guess at that time I didn't realize I couldn't do that for a career. But there were so many moments, so many times in our Catholic education experience that there were teachers, coaches, mentors that encouraged us to dream, that encouraged me to dream, that encouraged me to have ambitious goals, that encouraged me to think about what it took to reach those goals, try to instill into me characteristics and habits that would allow me to reach those goals. More importantly, over time, the Catholic education engraved in our hearts not only what we wanted to be, but what we wanted to be like, the values that we would stand for, and the values that we should stand for. I was so blessed at St. Martha. I was very blessed at St. X to be surrounded by great teachers, great coaches who really cared about me as an individual. I was especially fortunate to be surrounded by some great teammates there, and we were successful enough that I was able to achieve my second grade dream of playing football for Notre Dame. Before I close, I'll tell you a funny story. It really wasn't that funny at the time, but it was my freshman year at Notre Dame, and I had earned the opportunity to dress varsity for an early home game. And as it goes on there, I was going out through the tunnel, and some of you older Notre Dame fans here may remember it was the USC game where we dressed in our traditional blue and white jerseys. And then when we came back into the locker room, the coaches surprised us with the green and gold jerseys. And then we went out and we beat we beat USC 49-19. We wore the green and gold jerseys, and we were successful the rest of the year and won the national championship. Well, there were so many great traditions: tapping the Play Like a Champion banner, running through the tunnel, experiencing the grotto, the Golden Dome. But there was one tradition that I really wasn't aware of. Back in those days, I hate to say that, back in those days, but before the first Notre Dame Stadium expansion, the men's varsity locker room actually opened right onto the parking lot. So after showering after the game, I pushed open the door and walked out there, and I was surprised. The band was there, there were cheerleaders, parents were hugging the players were signing autographs, and I remember thinking two things. First, I could really get used to this. And secondly, I thought, man, I knew I should have been practicing signing my autograph. Needless to say, there weren't a lot of people surrounding me and asking me for my autograph, but after about a minute, this little boy walked over, took off his visor, looked up at me and said, "Can I have your autograph?" I could kind of involuntarily feel my chest kind of swell and said, "Sure, no problem." And I scribbled my name on there, acting like I knew what I was doing, and he kind of went off on his own way. And about a minute later, I looked over, and he had this kind of furrowed brow look on his face. I didn't think anything of it, so I just was talking to some friends. Looked over again, and he has an eraser out, and he's actually erasing my name. So I walk over there, and I bend down and say, "Hey, is there anything wrong?" The little boy looked up at me and said, "There's nothing wrong. I just thought you were Joe Montana." I had a dream to play quarterback at Notre Dame. Unfortunately, Joe Montana had the same dream. As part of my Catholic education, I didn't even realize it, but throughout that experience, within me there was this plan B that was going on. You know, I didn't get to play quarterback for Notre Dame, but I was able to do some other things because that plan B meant to be strong, to be resilient, to be positive, to be honest, to be humble, and to be grateful. So I thank my Catholic education for being able to bounce back from that. It was a tough time, but it taught me lessons of how to overcome adversity. And we learned those lessons because of what was instilled in us along the way. I'm going to share with you one last little quote before I close up, because I think it's really fitting for tonight's event. It's from one of my favorite movies, The Emperor's Club. I know my kids are probably out there knowing right now what I'm going to say. But as it goes, there's a history teacher that's talking to his students, during one of the first days of class. And he's trying to explain to them the traits of leadership throughout history. He talked to them about leaders in art, science, industry, military, philosophy. And he told them, he said, great ambition and conquest without contribution is without significance. Great ambition and conquest without contribution is without significance. What he was trying to tell them at a very young age was that no matter what your level of success is, no matter what your achievements are, if you don't find a way to give back, if you don't find a way to leverage those accomplishments in a way that you can help others, that success is of very little value. Thanks to my Catholic education, I've been very blessed with a full life, a very rewarding life, and most importantly, a very happy life. Thank you all very much.